time for another deathmatch. What we're going to have this evening, well, I thought, as you can see from the cinder tile, we'll get out the sort of original old guard. There we go, Belial. So XXL Belial. And we'd square him off against sort of one of the new bloods, one of the new contenders. And the other one, who's only had one match so far, which is the Oni Warlord. So there we go. Is this going to take as long as the last one, which was a bit of a monster battle between Shoryu and Odakuro? Who knows? So what have we got with our two sort of combatants? Well, Hellfight. So there you go. There's Belial, brutal side, and there's the still slightly curved Oni Warlord, brutal side. So health wise, Belial stands on 55, the Oni Warlord has 60, so they're about equal there. Defense wise, Belial has 4, the Oni Warlord has 3, but the Oni Warlord doesn't have any endurance. Belial has endurance 4, the Oni Warlord does 8 damage per hit and has 5, and Belial meanwhile has 8 attacks but only does 6. So, you know, there's possibly about even Stevens on that, on raw sort of damage between the two. When we get to sort of special abilities, I think the edge on this one may be with the Oni Warlord, because one of the advantages Belial has is he is one of these summoning bosses. He's got a chance where he can draw in sort of low level threats to face off against the Oni, but the Oni got this massive club that just smacks everything anywhere in range of it. So I think the Oni Warlord will just still clear out all these enemies in front of it. Plus the Oni Warlord has the ability to basically shove people in the box, which, you know, is possibly an insta KO, much like the Odakuro grab. You know, if Belial's the only one left and he gets shoved in the box, that's it, game over. Of course, poor old Belial has this ability that any sort of 6s against him may target the key to do extra damage, ignoring the endurance, blah yada yada yada. So I think I'm actually going to go with the Oni on this one. I think the Oni's going to beat Belial. But I think it's going to be a close one. I don't think there's a big disparity. Right, so let's get into it. What do we do? Start of a turn. Anything we need to worry about at the start of a turn? Don't think we have any start of turn. Oh no, it is endurance 4 on the Warlord. I just looked. They're about equal on that. No, I don't think there's any start of turn effects. So we go to the initiative phase. So the first initiative is going to be Belial. First thing Belial does is he has some of his shadow magic. There we go, shadow magic. Give it a bit of a shuffle. Right, and what do we get? Shadow magic. The world around you seems to fall away as you become transfixed by the soulless might of the spellcaster. Release me and you will be rewarded. Okay, I think we're going to get rid of that simply it's purely and utterly irrelevant for this because it deals in corruption damage. Let's try one that's actually relevant to the fight. Nice. Am I being unfair doing that? I don't think so. So, hellfire chains. Chains of dark hellfire erupt from the cracked floor, constricting around all those nearby and burning them with fires of ancient evil. Every hero on the same or adjacent map tile as spellcaster must make a strength 5 or more test to break free from the burning chains. If successful, heal D6 wounds with nothing's wounded. If failed, they may not move during the next activation and take D6 ignoring defense. So, is the Oni going to be strong enough to get out of the chains? That's a 5. Yes, it is. So that's shadow magic done. Belial will then. Oh no, Scourge of the Worlds is the start of a turn. So, okay, technically before that, Belial, Scourge of the Worlds to draw a Growing Dread card. Obviously this was slightly backfiring versus the ancient one who had the thing where he got more health for growing dreads. I think most of these are probably not going to be relevant. I guess I probably shouldn't just ignore them if they're not relevant. We've been not ignoring them elsewhere. So, growing dread for the only wolf is, yeah, immediately takes D6 corruption points, ignoring willpower from humanity's end. Yeah, we'll stick with it. We'll keep it fair. We've been doing it elsewhere, so yeah, that's a whiff on the growing dread. Then Belial does the shadow magic, which is also a whiff. Then Belial steps up, swings at the Oni Warlord. 8 dice. 6, 7, 8. Hitting on 4 or more, and 6s will add burning markers. There are no 6s, there are however 2 hits. They do 6 damage, which is 3 after the defense, so 6 in total. 6 damage to the Warlord. Okay. That's it for Belial, I believe. Yep. Oni Warlord. Changes targets, return there's no other targets. So basically swings the club for 5, doing 8 damage per. 3 successes. So for each is 12 damage to Belial. Oops, 12 damage to Belial. Then at the end of the Warlord's move, one random hero adjacent to him must make an agility 5 or more test. Belial passes, otherwise it's been a very, very quick game. Belial passes that one. Okay. So that's the end of that turn. Start of the turn, Scourge of Worlds. 3, a darkness card. Again, this is most likely going to be irrelevant. But you never know, you may summon like a Night Terror or something in ambush. Who knows? Darkness card is Fueled by Rage. All enemies are +1 combat whilst they have 1 or more wounds on them. So, well, it's not totally irrelevant. It means that, so yeah, Belial is going to have +1 combat. Shadow Magic. Go with this one. Hellfire Chains again. Is the Oni strong enough to get out of the Hellfire Chains? It is not this time, so it takes D6 wounds, ignoring defense. We'll take 2. Takes 2 wounds. Okay. Belial swings, so that is now going to be 9 dice. Inflicting 6 damage per. Oh, there's some 6s. In fact, there's a lot of hits. So that is 2 6s and 4 other normal hits. So that is 6 hits in total. So that is 6 sets of 3, which is 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2. Which puts the Oni on to 26 already. Maybe I've discounted Belial a bit too easily. And then D3, so that's 2 D3 burning. 3 burning markers. Oops, 1, 2, 3 burning markers on the Oni Warlord. That is it, I believe, for Belial. Yeah. So the Oni starts, takes 2 damage, removes a burning. Swings at Belial. So 5 dice. That is 3 hits, one of which is a 6. So the 2 normal hits will do 4 each. 4 each. So 8. That's 20. And then swings also at the key. Roll another to hit roll. misses. If it hit, it done 2d6. Never mind. Right, we then see, can Belial avoid being shoved in a slave cage? Right, so it's normally 5 or more, but it does say if there's only 1 or 2 heroes in the hero party, you may add 2 to this dice skill test if the warlord has trouble catching so few targets. So that would be a 5, which is just enough. Is it? Or are we at half? 60. We're not yet at half hits, just. So we just made that because there's only 1 effectively in the hero posse. This is so as soon as the Oni takes more wounds, it's going to get harder. Okay, so that was the end of the Oni Warlord's turn. Back to Belial, start the turn. Scourge of Worlds says Growing Dread. Growing Dread is Untold Horrors. Your mind burns as it races through the events that led to this fate, this one doom, and the Untold Horrors that await. Over here immediately takes horror hits equal to the position on the darkness track. Yeah, we don't have that, so that's a whiff. Shadow Magic. With this one, which Strengthening Darkness. The spellcaster immediately heals a number of wounds equal to the current position on the darkness mark on the depth track. We've been assuming it is 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 gets healed. And then you could do some stuff to cancel it, which they don't have any grip, so they can't. Then Belial swings, +1 combat still, so 9 dice. So 2 6s this time, 5. So that is 3 sets of 3, which is now 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. Less 2. And another 2d3 burning, which is another 4 burning. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. Right, so let's have a look now. What is the Oni on? The Oni is on 46, so yes, more than half. So yeah, we go to the Oni's turn. Burning, get rid of 1 burning token, take 2. Then swing, 5, yep, it's 5, doing 8 each. So that's 1, 5, it will do 4 damage. That's 6, may hit the key. Does it hit the key? 4 or more? It does hit the key, so 2d6 damage, ignoring defense and endurance. Okay, it's not a double, which also does something odd. It's a 6, so 6 more damage. Puts Belial on 29. Now that the Oni is less than half health, it is going to basically make an agility 6 or more, which is effectively a 4 or more for Belial to avoid being shoved in the cage. That's a 4, so Belial is once again okay. He's living dangerously, but he is dodging it. Start of the next turn. Belial does what is the Scourge of Worlds. It is a 1, so we summon a low threat from Cinder, which is a Flesh Stalker Confrontation. 1 Flesh Stalker and 2 Torture Drones. And then we have a Fiendish Goal. Okay, let's get those out then. Flesh Stalker. Honourable mention in the previous season for nearly doing so well, even though one XXL, and there's like one of your drones. So we've got 2 drones, a Flesh Stalker, we now need to find a Fiendish Goal. So there's the tools of terror that it will need. And here's our Fiendish Goals. Okay, so apparently this Flesh Stalker is attempting to alter history. And I've come back in time to change the past and rewrite the future. The start of return heroes recover a grit on that. Irrelevant. Flesh Stalker may only select any target change. Okay. So the Flesh Stalker is basically going to stand there and do nothing because the Oni can't recover grit. So it will never be a target by the Flesh Stalker. Okay, so the Flesh Stalker is mostly irrelevant. Ambushing, so we'll get them as close as we can. I think we can just about get them in like that. Yeah, so I think the Flesh Stalker is mainly going to be irrelevant. The drones may do something. Right, so that was that. Start of turn, so I need to actually go get their enemy cards. Don't have that for 1 moment. There we go, some flash drones. Can they even hurt? They can just hurt the Warlord, I think. Yeah. And there's a Flesh Stalker, who's basically going to stand around and be a meat blob. Mostly, I think, at this point, acting as ablative cover for the slave cage. Right. So that was the start of a turn. So technically the Flesh Stalker initiative is 8 for this turn. They do go first. They get their Tool of Terror. I suppose their Shadow Shift that they do might hurt. Yeah. Right, their Tool of Terror for this turn is a Harvesting Syringe. Whenever it shifts into a space with a hero this turn, that takes peril dice damage instead of d6, and the Flesh Stalker heals peril dice wounds. Okay, so then Flesh Stalker is targeting nobody for combat, so it doesn't do anything on that front. It will then Shadow Shift, so it Shadow Shift, so it takes bounces 3 times like dynamite. So it'll have 1 towards Belial, and then off we go. 6, so 1, 2, 3, 6. Well, there we go. Straight off the bat, swaps with the Oni. So the Oni kind of get shunted into the side there, but never mind. So that's 1, and then 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, swapped. Technically can't swap. The Oni's kind of smushed into one square, so can't do that one. And then 1. Swaps are there. Yeah, because basically where it was trying to go to, there isn't actually a space. So the Oni, because of those rules for very large creatures and so on, is really only occupying this 1 square here. But anyway, so it did get swapped once, so it will take peril dice wounds. It takes 4, which is as much as it could take, so it ignores armour and defences. It doesn't ignore endurance, but it couldn't do, so it couldn't go any higher. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 52, nearly dead. So that was the Flesh Stalker. Then the next one to go is going to be the Flesh Drones. So one of them's already there. That one's over there. That one moves up in to fight. They have 4 combat each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these have a damage value equal to the 2 hit rolls, so they need to get effectively 4 or more to do any wounds. Okay, so the 3 will hit and do no wounds, away it goes. The 4 hits and does 1 wound. The 6 hits and does 3 wounds. So the Oni is now on 56, very close to death. It's then Belial's go, so we have some shadow magic. Come closer. Randomly takes D6 corruption hits. Yeah. So it's with. Oh, I forgot the enemies are at +1, aren't they? So that's an extra 2 attacks from those flesh stalkers. That's 3, a 6 and a 4. So now they both hit for 3, 4. So 4. That's actually going. Now that we look at it, I believe that's going to be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is enough. That is actually. We never got to Belial. We never got to Belial. His summoned flesh drones managed to take down the Oni Warlord. So yeah, I think Belial was very much in danger there of being shoved in a bag for a lot of the turns, but managed to just dodge it long enough to get some allies out and put the final blow in. He was doing quite a lot of damage each turn, but yeah, it was only narrowly dodging being shoved in a cage. That could have gone either way, I think. The Oni could have caged him quite early. But that is a win for the Lord of Cinder, Belial. He has now got himself another win.